Alright, shalom, shalom. Before I begin, I want to start first by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to my teachers, the head, the elders, and apostles, the great millstone. Peace, blessings, salutations to the hopeful elect. And real quick, I'm going to go into a lesson dealing with, basically going into, um, basically Israel ruling, alright? Israel ruling and these other nations serving us, because people often get mistaken. They try to equate the kingdom of heaven, or salvation, with everybody being saved, everybody being equal, everybody being on the same level, the same playing field. But that's not true. Right? That's not true. See, the scriptures say, which we're going to read it. Scriptures talk about the Lord said how He's going to build up the tabernacle of David, as in the days of old. Now, when you think about when David was ruling, who when you think about when David was ruling, was everybody was all these other nations equal to David, or did David subdue these other nations? Let's get real quick. Let's get second. And I get the inspiration from this lesson actually from Ed Apostle, the video that Ed Apostle Tahar did. All right. Says if our gospel be hid, says this Hebrew Israelite argument backfires, the stranger argument, and around this, the 22 minute mark, he's going into, he mentioned about David subduing the heathen, right? And that, through the Spirit, sparked me to do this lesson, because again, when you think about the kingdom of heaven, that's Israel being on top. That's not all nations being equal, to all nations, we all gonna, here we go, we all gonna rule the kingdom of heaven together. No. The Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans under Yahweh Shah, right, is going to rule in the kingdom of heaven, and you other nations will be will be servants to us. You other nations will what's the word I'm looking for, man? Basically, be in servitude is the word I'm looking for. In servitude to us, right? Second Samuel. That's what it was. 2 Samuel 8, right? Which is actually where I paused the video at, where the Edo Apostle Tahar is reading. But this is the book of 2 Samuel, chapter 8, and let's see, where did he start at? He started around 12. So this is the second. I'm gonna go start at the top actually, and I might jump a little bit. But this book of 2 Samuel chapter 8 verse 1 says, and after this it came to pass that David smote the Philistines and subdued them. Right? David smote the Philistines and subdued them. Right? What does the word subdue mean? And the Philistines, they were Hamites. Right? They were Hamites. They come from the seed of Ham. It's the so-called Africans today. But it's the meaning of the word subdue. Right? It says to overcome, quieten, or bring under control. Bring under control a feeling or person, right? Bring a country or people under control by force. Now, that's the definition we want, right? It says bring a country or people. All right, what did the scripture say? How David, how David subdued, right? He subdued the Philistines, so he took control. He was ruling over the Philistines, right? It says bring a country or people under control by force, right? Synonyms: conquer, defeat. All right, overpower. That's a good one. Overcome, crush. All right, beat, triumph over. Right, that's a good one. Bring someone to their knees. All right, to wipe the floor with. Right, and David was doing these names of the heathen. All right, or he subdued the heathen. Took control over the heathen. He defeated, overpowered, conquered the heathen. Right. Again, it says, and after this came to pass that David smote the Philistines and subdued them. So again, when you think about the kingdom of heaven, it's not everybody being on the same playing field, if you want to say. Not everybody's going to be on, everybody's not going to be on the same level. You know, you're gonna have Israelites. Here you go. All nations we're gonna rule the world together. No, you know, Israel, Moab, Ammon, Esau. We all gonna be on the same level. Everybody gonna be equal in the kingdom of heaven. Nobody's gonna rule over nobody. No, that's not how it's gonna be, man. Right? The scripture say, let's actually read it. Go ahead, read it. How the Lord say He's gonna rebuild the tabernacle of David. As in the days of old. And again, when David was ruling, when David was ruling, how was his kingdom, um, how was he ruling, shall I say? How did, um, what was his kingdom like? All right, did everybody have, did all nations have, were all nations equal to David, or did all these nations, did they serve David? Were they in servitude to David? Did David subdue them? Well, we just read it. How David subdued, first and foremost, the Philistines. Alright? And we're going to keep reading. But before we get that, let's go ahead and get this Amos 9, this book of Amos 9. And I'm going to start at verse 8. It says, Behold, the eyes of the Lord Yahweh are upon the sinful kingdom. Now, at one point in time, just talking about Israel, but we could equate it to it being America, Babylon the Great. Right? We could apply it to America, Babylon the Great. It says, Behold, the eyes of the Lord Yahweh are upon the sinful kingdom, and I will destroy it from off the face of the earth, saving that I will not utterly destroy the house of Jacob, save the Lord. For lo, I will command and I will sift the house of Israel among all nations. Like as corn is sifted in the sieve, yet shall not the least grain fall upon the earth. All the sins of my people shall die by the sword, which say, the evil shall not overtake nor prevent us. Right, verse 11 says, In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof, and I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old. Right, so the Lord says He's going to build up the tabernacle of the house of David as in the days of old. And when David was ruling, how was he ruling? When David was in power, how, where was the heathen? When David was ruling, where was the heathen? Were they on the same level as David, King David? Were they on the same level, right? Were they ruling together with David, or were they under David? Was David over them? Were they in servitude to King David? And it's just going to be, just that way in the kingdom of heaven, right? Matter of fact, scriptures say, what is that? Micah 1, right? How these other nations, they're going to come up, right? They're going to come to us, right? They're going to come to us and learn the ways of the Lord from us. We're going to teach them, right, the ways of the Lord. This book of Micah, the first chapter, the second verse, it says, Hear all you people, hearken, O earth, and all that therein is. No, this ain't it. Slakia. This ain't it. Not Micah 1. Malachi 1, I want to say. Malachi. Not Micah. Salakia. Or is it? No. No. You know what? I'm tripping. It's Micah 4. Yeah, Micah 4. Alright, this is the book of Micah chapter 4 and verse 1. It says, But in the last days it shall come to pass that the mountain of the house of the Lord shall be established in the top of the mountains, and it shall be exalted above the hills, and the people shall flow into it. And many nations shall come, right? And many nations shall come and say, Come, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, and to the house of the God of Jacob, right? And He will teach us of His ways, and we will walk in His paths. For the law shall go forth of Zion, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. Yeah, Jerusalem being the people for us to place. So it says many nations are going to come. Many nations are going to come, and we're going to teach them the ways of the Lord. They're going to learn the ways of the Lord from us. Now, it also goes to show you, this also shows you that them gooks over there, not gooks, Slacky, them damn gutter rats over there in Israel right now that say that they're Israelites, they're not the true children of Israel, right? Because if they were, why isn't this happening? Why are they not? Why are we not learning the ways of the Lord from these from them? If they're the real Jews, if they're the real Israelites, if they're the real people of God, people of the Most High, why are they not teaching the other nations the law, statutes, and commandments of the Lord? Why aren't why aren't we the why aren't all the other nations learning the ways of the Lord from these people? Shows you, man. They're not the people. We're the people. The so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, right? So, okay. Now, where was that at? And where was that at? Yeah, going back to Amos 9, right? Again, verse 11 says, "In that day will I raise up the tabernacle of David that is fallen, and close up the breaches thereof, and I will raise up his ruins, and I will build it as in the days of old." Right. So again, when David was ruling, right, he was ruling. The other nations were subdued under him. He conquered these other nations, and it's going to be so in the kingdom of heaven. Okay. Verse 12 says that they may possess the remnant of Edom, right, and all of the heathen, which are called by my name, save the Lord that doeth this. Right. Yeah, the remnant of Edom, right, which is their land. Right. So we're gonna again subdue the heathen again. The heathen will be subdued again in the kingdom of heaven. All right. Verse 13 it says, "Behold, the days come, saith the Lord, that the plowman shall overtake the reaper." Yeah, right. The plowman shall overtake the reaper. The Israelites overtaking, this damn devil. It says, "In the tread of grapes, him that soweth seed, in the mountains shall drop sweet wine, and all the hills shall melt." Right. It says, "And I will bring again the captivity of my people of Israel, and they shall build the way cities and inhabit them, and they shall plant vineyards and drink the wine thereof. They shall also make gardens and eat the fruit of them." All right. "And I will plant them upon their land, and they shall no more be pulled up out of their land which I have given them, save the Lord thy power." So yeah, once the true children of Israel, once we go back home, that's it. The scriptures say how the king, how the saints are going to take the kingdom and reign over it forever and ever. Right. So once the Lord put us back on top, that's it. There's not going to be another transatlantic slave trade. There's not going to be another 400 years of captivity. There's not going to be no more captivity for the nation of Israel. That's it. The only captivity that's going to be on the earth is the captivity of the heathen. So let's go back to 2 Samuel 8, verse 1. It says, And after this it came to pass that David smote the Philistines and subdued them. We looked up that word subdue. All right. It says, "And David took Methagammah out of the hand of the Philistines, and he smote Moab, and measured them with a line, casting them down to the ground. Even the 2 lions measured he, to put to death, and with 1 full line to keep alive. And so the Moabites became David's servants and brought gifts." So again, when you think about the tabernacle of David, right, when David was ruling, where were the heathen? What was the heathen doing? They were in servitude to the Israelites. They were in servitude to David. And it's going to be just as so in the kingdom of heaven. If the Lord is going to he's going to build up the tabernacle of David as in the days of old. What does that mean? That means Israel will be on top and the heathen will be under Israel. The heathen will be subdued. It's that simple, man. It ain't rocket science. All right. Let's jump down a little bit. Verse 6. It says, "Then David put garrisons in Syria of Damascus, and the Syrians became servants to David and brought gifts. And the Lord preserved David whithersoever he went." Whew, tell you, man. King David. Hey, King David, man. That man was the man. when he, during his time, he was, hey, you know, you need to go read up on some history of King David, man. Speaking to myself first and foremost, man. You know, um, let's jump down a little bit. Okay, verse 11. It says, which also King David did dedicate unto the Lord with the silver and gold that he had dedicated of all nations which he subdued. Look at that word subdue again. And we look up what that word subdued mean, man. It means to conquer, to overpower, to take control of. So David, he took control, right? He had these other nations, these heathen nations, in servitude. Okay, they were servants unto David, and it's going to be just as so in the kingdom of heaven. And what did it also say? How these other nations, they brought gifts unto David. So what do you think is going to be? Come on, man. How are they going to be in the kingdom of heaven? We're not only just going to rule over these heathen nations, but they're going to bring gifts into us. They're going to pay us tithes. They're going to give us, um, again, they're going to give us gifts, right? They're going to be a servitude to us. They're going to serve us. All right? Verse 12 says, of Syria and of Moab and of the children of Ammon and of the Philistines and of Amalek and of the spoil of Hadadezer, son of Rehob, king of Zobah. Okay? So, one more, verse it's like 13, it says, and David got him a name when he returned from smiting of the Syrians in the valley of Salt, being 18,000 men. And he put garrisons in Edom, throughout all Edom put he garrisons, right? And all they of Edom, and the garrison is basically, to put it in terms you'll understand, the garrison is basically a military base, for a lack of words, if you want to say it, for you to understand. A garrison is basically like a military base, if I'm not mistaken. Let's look it up. Yeah, it says the troops stationed in a fortress or town to defend it. Yeah, yeah, basically, like, a military unit. So yeah, that's basically what a garrison is. A military base. So David, he had military bases, right, in these different places of the heathen, right? Different lands of the heathen, right? Just as how Esau has it today, where he has different garrisons, military bases all over the world, right? That's how that's how David was, right? And that's how the children of Israel are going to be once we're back on top. It says, well, yeah. It says, and he put garrisons in Edom, throughout all Edom put he garrisons, and all they of Edom became David's servants. What is a servant, man? Somebody that serves you. Right? It says, and the Lord preserved David whithersoever he went. So that's pretty much it. Um, that's I just wanted to touch on that real quick. Got the inspiration from Ed Apostle Har, right? If you haven't seen his video, go check it out, man. You already know, man. Edifying as always. The elder apostles, man. They always putting out edifying videos, man, without a shadow of a doubt. So I hope this was edifying, right? So yeah, that's it. So with that, we give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shah Bahashem Kakwadash. Double honors my teachers, the head, the elders, and apostles, the great millstone. Peace, blessings, salutations to the hopeful elect. All right, shalom.